Welcome back, Truth Seeker. The ongoing saga with Trump and Venezuela continues. Today, Trump has claimed that the U.S. military has seized a Venezuelan oil tanker, likely transporting oil to China. And again, I mean, what are we doing here? These are bullying tactics. This is Team America World Police type of stuff. And what gives the U.S. the authority to do this to another nation? These things could be seen as acts of war, but of course, not many people are ever going to fight back against the United States of America because we do have a military that is massive compared to everyone else. There's no one that's even close. We have bases all across the world. We have Navy vessels all across the seas of the world. We are a big military superpower. And that's why when you see tax comparisons of what people in Europe who pay a little bit more in taxes get as citizens compared to us, it seems almost depressing. I mean, for those of you guys who don't pay attention, these European socialist nations, they pay a tiny bit more taxes than us, and they have pretty much all their secondary education covered, all their healthcare covered. They have better quality of life. Again, the reason we don't have that is because we're spending all of our money on militarism. And sure, there are advantages to that. We get to live off, other people's suffering. There are a lot of great things happening in this nation because of all the other nations we've made suffer under the U.S. military boot. It's made us the currency that the entire world is pegged to, which keeps the U.S. dollar relatively strong compared to other currencies in the world. But anyway, let's talk about what's really going on with the Trump versus Venezuela. Does this really have anything to do with Donald Trump? Is it Donald Trump who's doing these things? The answer to that is, of course not, because the only people that make it into the Oval Office are puppets. They don't make any decisions. They just go in there and do what they're told and put on the political theater that they're meant to put on, which is mostly to divide the country and keep people hating one party more than the other. For all of you who haven't figured this out, it is what's going on. Again, for years, we've been telling you years in advance who's going to win the rigged selections, why the selection is going to be Trump this time, why it was going to be Biden last time, while it was going to be Trump the time before that, et cetera, et cetera. It's very obvious how rigged the American political system is. And no matter who's in power, the U.S. Is a military might bombing away, always bombing brown people. I haven't seen us bomb any white. Well, I guess actually there while Clinton was in office, we got involved in some wars in the Eastern Bloc where I guess the people were actually a little bit white. But outside of that, for the most part, we only bomb brown people. Venezuela fits. We've been supposedly bombing their drug boats, which doesn't make any sense. The CIA has been funneling drugs into the country for a long time. Again, part of the reason we go to wars with these places like Afghanistan and Vietnam is to funnel drugs into the country. We've had an opioid crisis ever since we went into Vietnam, and it's been at an all-time high ever since we went into Afghanistan, the biggest poppy producer in the world. Again, the Taliban had cleared out poppy production from Afghanistan. We went in there and killed them, and we brought it back, and look, bigger opioid crisis than ever in the history of the world. These things aren't an accident, and somehow people fail to connect the dots. But let's go back and look at who was in power before Nicolas Maduro, who says Trump says he's forcing him out. His days are numbered. He's going to be out of here any day. And it's interesting how he's 63 right now. We all know what happened in 1963 in this country to a certain leader that supposedly, was resisting certain powers, especially banking elite and whatnot, trying to keep us out of the war in Vietnam. But let's go back and look at what happened to Hugo Chavez. And if you forgot, Hugo Chavez said it was a U.S. cancer weapon that took him out. That was his claim. So we're going to start here because we're going to go back to what happened to Hugo Chavez. You might have forgot, but I just want to remind you we're in the time of Donald Trump, number 47, where he's pulled off about a bazillion 47 rituals since taking office. And remember, when he lost to Biden, Biden was once the 47th vice president who took office with a 47-year-old Obama. And then after being in the federal government for 47 years, Joe Biden became president himself, a very obvious. I mean, you guys think about it. In this nation of approaching 400 million, the best candidate the Democrats could find to run for their party was Joe Biden, who was at the, well, I guess he's still breathing, but I mean, at the end of his life, it's just, again, you guys, these people don't do anything. They just get put in for the division they will cause. Slow Joe. That's all we heard about for 4 years. Slow Joe. Now we got, the guy who wants to have sex with his daughter back in there, the proud pussy grabber who is the father of the jab, who brought this country closer to communism than we've ever seen it. And then people think he's going to make the country great again. I remember he locked us down over the flu, declared himself the father of the jab on Mercuralia, went over everybody's head, et cetera, et cetera. Started sending out government checks because we were shut down over the flu, causing hyperinflation. Anyway, remember, back in 2020, he was saying, I've done more in 47 months than Joe Biden's done in 47 years. And again, you learn gematria. It's very simple. It is based on the alphabetic order, forwards and backwards, and also forwards and backwards with numerology applied. You see how the word president equates to 47? You're saying, how is P7? It's because it's the 16th letter using the alphabetic order, and the numerology of 16 is 1 plus 6 is 7. R is the 18th letter. The numerology of 18 is 1 plus 8 is 9. E is the 5th letter. S is the 19th. 19 breaks down to 10. 10 breaks down to 1. So S is 1. I is 9. D is the 4th letter. E is the 5th. N is the 14th. 1 plus 4 is 5. T is the 20th letter. 2 plus 0 is 2. President, 47. Run the alphabetic order in reverse and apply numerology. White House, 47. Just like government. Run it the other way. Authority, 47, like Republican. Think about the man who made the Republican Party, Mr. 407 years ago, Lincoln. They were the Whig Party before. The alphabetic order without numerology. Whig is 47. 407 years ago. This nation's birthday, the 4th day of the 7th month, not by accident. And it shouldn't even be that day because we declared independence on July 2nd. Look it up if you don't know that. Independence Day should be July 2nd. It was the day we declared independence. Why would it be any other day? Well, you learn gematria. Independence Day equals 74, like holiday, like Masonic, like this country was founded by a bunch of Masons who study the 47th problem of Euclid. But also Democrat 47, DC 47, Trump 47. The 47s go on and on and on. They go back to the beginning of the country when George Washington laid the cornerstone. George Washington, a Mason for D.C. on September 18th, 1793, a date with a life lesson number of 47. And there's even more to this 47 list. But this doesn't just apply to what's going on in the United States of America. Freemasonry, which venerates 47, didn't start in the United States of America. It came across the ocean. Just like how these Americas have been settled and colonized by the people who came from the same continent where modern Freemasonry came from. So let's go back in time. Let's scroll down here. We'll come back and cover all these things. But let's just understand what's going on and why all this is happening. So there was a coup d'etat on Hugo Chavez back in the time of George W. Bush. And remember, Trump's the first Republican, 47, since George W. Bush. But all the history books say that Chavez was removed from power for 47 hours. 47 hours. Again, this number is everywhere. And don't forget, when you're talking about the U.S. government, you always got to talk about the CIA because it pretty much runs the government now. The CIA established in 47. Israel, this always important nation that we give so much military and financial aid to. What year was it drawn up in? It was drawn up in 47 on September 3rd, recognized as a nation to be, which it was officially established as the next year. But again, it was September 3rd, 47. Just 15 days before the CIA was created. 47 is the 15th prime number. It's a whole nother topic. But yeah, these numbers are all important. And if you go back and look at the Hugo Chavez thing, things started to heat up for him on April 7th. Oh, April 7th. April 7th. Wow, April 7th. And the next thing you know, there's a coup days later, and he's out of power for 47 hours. This has been going on all throughout history, these kind of rituals. Again, think about who was the Republican president before George W. Bush. Do you remember who it was? It was his father who gave the speech about a new world order. September 11th, 1990, 11 years to the day of the buildings coming down that look like an 11 in New York, the 11th state, after Flight AA-11 and all that, not to mention he was the 11th director of the CIA. Again, this new world order is obviously controlled by these same secret societies. If you go in the House of the Temple in Washington, D.C., there's two massive portraits of the Bushes as you come in. Of course, the Bush family, one of the most important political dynasties, which really started with Prescott Bush, the senator who made a lot of money selling to all countries during World War II, you know. Amazing. These collaborators with the Nazis rose to great political power in the U.S., the same nation that brought over all the Nazi scientists after the war, and then essentially founded NASA with them in 58. Like Freemasonry equals 58, like secret society, like science, like Nazis. Funny enough, all those things equal 58. Remember, they took the Scottish Rite flag to the moon with them, supposedly. In the time of Cancer, when Cancer's ruled by the moon and the astrological symbol looks like 69 and it was the year 69. But anyway, that's another story too. The point is this 47 thing. Because now here we are today. Today is December 10th, 25. So what is 12 plus 10 plus 25? Is that 47? 12 plus 10, that's 22, plus 25, that's 47 last time I checked. So here we are on a date numerology of 47. Not to mention we are in the 47th week of the Trump administration. We're in the 47th week, and now we're getting to a big escalation, you know, seizing an oil tanker. That's a pretty big deal. I mean, it's been a pretty big deal that we've been attacking drug boats by the numbers. Oh, funny. The gematria of drug boat equals 47. And do we know that any of this is even really happening? I mean, it could be, it could not be. It's hard to say. Have you ever seen the movie Wag the Dog? If not, it's probably one of the most important movies ever made because it was a total mockery and predictive programming for what was going to happen with Clinton. And it showed you just how fake it all can be. If you've never seen Wag the Dog, I would encourage you to stop what you're doing right now and go watch Wag the Dog. You don't even need to watch the rest of this video. Just stop this video right now and go figure out how to watch Wag the Dog. And then as you watch it, realize it's not just some Hollywood comedy. It's another one of these mocking pieces telling you how your government really works. If you want me to ruin the movie for you, you can still watch it and appreciate it because there's a lot of little details in there. What it's about is a president who's seeking re-election. It's time to vote. But what has just come out in the news? That this president had sex with a 12-year-old, essentially Girl Scout, like the type of person that would come to your door selling you cookies. The president had sex with a 12-year-old. Kind of interesting right now with Trump, who has a history of flirting with 10-year-olds and telling him he's going to be dating them in the future and the whole Epstein thing. But remember, this was in the time of Clinton it came out, who's also friends with Epstein. But again, a story about a president who had sex with a 12-year-old, and it's all over the news. And they're saying, how can he possibly get reelected with this being the story? And they say, listen, well, they hire this top consultant, like back in the George W. Bush time, you always heard about Karl Rove, how Karl Rove was the brain of Bush. Now he's a consultant on Fox News. But a Karl Rove type, and he comes in, he says, and it's Robert De Niro in the movie. He says, well, the only thing you can do is start a war because you have to reelect a wartime president. And remember, that was the story with why George W. Bush got reelected, because everyone saw that he was functionally retarded. But hey, we had to keep him in office because a war was going on. That was the story in the news. You got to keep a wartime president, no matter how big of a retard he is. Never go full retard. Anyway. In the movie, or they say, well, are we really going to start a war to get reelected? And they say, no, the war is only going to exist on TV. So how are we going to do that? So they go and get the greatest director of Hollywood, the greatest director from Hollywood, to create the fictional war, to film it, to make it look all real, to put it out to all news outlets. And again, you watch the movie, they do all kinds of crazy things. They invent history. They stick it in the National Archive to bring it up to make the president who they're trying to get reelected look great. Pretty much probably everything that goes on to this very day, just making up history, making up the news, doing whatever they got to do to control the minds, to control the agenda. And then what happens at the end of the movie, just to ruin it all the way, is, after the director makes the fake war and dupes the American public, he wants credit. He wants credit in the mainstream that he contrived all this so people can know how great he is at what he does. He is the greatest storyteller, director there ever was. And he's saying he's going to go out there and get credit if it won't be given to him. So the movie ends with the news talking about how this great director died in his sleep, tragic loss, same kind of stuff that goes on every day. All these Hollywood entertainers that just die at young ages, found dead in their sleep. Their family was around them as they passed away peacefully. All the same shit that you see go on day after day that nobody questions. This bullshit news, these weird celebrity deaths. That's why Wag the Dog is a masterpiece of mockery. And again, outside of the 47 thing, look at all this stuff, you guys. Today is the 18th day of Maduro's age. And the point I'm making is the same thing that controls the United States of America is the same thing that controls Venezuela, is the same thing that controls nearly every nation existing today. The New World Order, which, as we know, is this Jesuit Masonic alliance. Again, all roads leading to Rome. And again, if you're new here, there are 4 base ciphers of the English language. Notice how oil, IHS overlap in all 4. IHS is the motto E Sus Hominum Salvator, which is abbreviated in their logo for the Jesuit order, IHS. And for the record, sun equals 18 as well. Oil is essentially ancient sunlight in the ground. At least that's what they tell us it is. And 18 is the meaning of life in Jewish numerology. And of course, the Jesuits, a lot of the founding members were Jews who converted to Catholicism during the time of the Protestant Reformation, where Martin Luther targeted Catholics and Jews. Again, this practice of coding numbers into words comes from Kabbalah, which is historically a Jewish practice, but it very much became a European ruling elite practice before America even existed. Again, everything going on over here came from over there, just like how those are the countries that have colonized the world out of that continent. But look how oil and IHS, it's just so perfect. It's every single cipher, right? And today is the 18th day of Maduro's age that supposedly we've hijacked the oil tanker. And it's forwards and backwards too. Oil and IHS, forwards and backwards. Just like sun is 18 when you run it in reverse. When Maduro became president, it was 45 days after Hugo Chavez died. Hugo Chavez died on March 5th. Catholic equals 35. Jesuitism equals 35. Holy See equals 35. They spell Holy See S-E-E, like see with your eye. I equals 35. Genesis 3:5 about the eyes of God, knowing good and evil. Jesus, the Roman name for Jesus, 35. 12/25, the day that a lot of the world celebrates, is Christmas, which is Sol Invictus. That's because of the Roman Catholic Church. 1225 has a square root of 35. It's like 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents dying on July 4th. When Holiday and Killing are 74, and all 3 of those presidents were outspoken against the Catholic Church and the Jesuits. But yeah, this 18 thing is funny too, because according to Wikipedia, Venezuela right now is the 18th biggest producing oil country. It's interesting. Venezuela, number 18 on the list. What a ritual. What a ritual. And with regards to the leader of the Jesuits, today's 28 days after his birthday. Seize is 28. Seize is 28. We seized the ship. Nicholas is 28. Nicholas Maduro's who Trump says he wants out. China is 28. That's likely where the oil was going to. From the anniversary of the Jesuits joining the Roman Catholic Church to today is 74 days. Tren de Aragua is 74. We've heard a lot about this Tren de Aragua. Every single story about them has been by the numbers. They're from Venezuela, just like the superior general. I forgot to make that point. The leader of the Jesuits, Arturo Sosa, is from Venezuela. Sure, there's a lot of focus on Venezuela. Let's not forget they just reopened the government on his birthday. The longest shutdown in history ended on his 77th birthday, like United States equals 77, like the nation's capital's on the 77th meridian. Remember, superior general equals 222, 222 votes to reopen the government on his birthday. The only reason the capital's in D.C. is because of the Jesuits. And don't forget these 74 rituals with Tren de Aragua, right? Because we've been hearing a lot about Venezuela and their gangsters in here. And now next thing you know, we're bombing their drug boats and seizing their oil tankers. But it all started with this Tren de Aragua supposedly taking over Aurora. And remember when this news first broke, August 30th, 74 days before Arturo Sosa's birthday? The reflection of 47. Aurora also 74. Again, the Jesuits of the Society of Jesus. You can understand why they renamed Jesus from Yeshua to Jesus. Jesus, cross, Messiah, parables, gospel, all 74. Like a cult, like Masonic, like killing, like Roman. And just to remind you also about what they did with Tren de Aragua, when they made the arrests, it was on the Pope's birthday. The first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, his 88th birthday. Aurora's 74 forwards, 88 in reverse. Holy Roman Empire's got that 74, 88 thing. Trump's got that 88 thing. The Pope dead on the 312th day of Trump's age, then the first American Pope from the 312 Chicago. Trump Jesuit educated at Fordham, what we call the 88 University. So, yeah, again, it's the same pattern through over 20 years now with the battle between the U.S. and Venezuela, where we're fighting socialism in Venezuela, just like how our CIA, once overthrew Chile's leader on September 11th because of socialist communist threats. And again, I'd encourage everybody to think about what is the difference between really any of these isms? Like, really, what is the difference at this point between any of these isms? Capitalism, socialism, communism? Are there really any difference in the nations that are supposedly these things at this point? There might be some tiny differences, but again, they teach us when we were kids. In communist nation, the TV is all propaganda. Okay, we got that here. Everything's all propaganda. There's nothing but propaganda on there. The government, chooses what companies are important. Has that not been going on for the U.S. in the U.S. for a long time? The way that our tax dollars are redistributed to the biggest welfare queens of the world, like the welfare, the Walmarts and the what's the Cabela's and a whole bunch of other stores too. I mean, it's not fair to just pick on those two, but a lot of these companies get pretty much everything paid for by the federal taxpayer, and that's why they have a competitive advantage over their competition, which they put out of business, mostly because the government backed them. So I got the same strip malls across the whole nation now, and hardly any mom and pop stores. Again, after Cooties 19, that we were told, like, you're not essential. This is essential. You're going to stay home. We're going to send you a check. I mean, it sounded like all the stuff you heard about communism. I guess in communist nations, though, it's very hard for people to choose what they want to do. They get put on a path. But doesn't that mostly happen here in the U.S.? If you don't come from a family of wealth, it's hard to escape certain things that you're likely going to end up in. For a lot of people, it's hard to become a doctor, even though they might have the skills and the willingness, because it's so expensive and it takes so long, and their family needs them around for one reason or another. It's kind of just like how it is in communism. The ruling class gets the best positions, and the poor people, they don't. I mean, it's really not that much different here. So, yeah, I really don't see a whole lot of difference between these isms. It's like religion too. It's pretty much all religions are very similar. A few differences, and people sit around and fight over all these things that are almost the same. But anyway, it's been 47 the whole time. That's why I got that license plate behind me that says, what is 47? Because it's everywhere once you recognize. You're like, wait a minute. They've been doing a lot of rituals around this 47 number. And again, you guys, it's ritualism day after day. Did you see the third rate cut this year? The third rate cut. Do you think it was by the numbers? This might remind you of Super Bowl 56. Today's 56 days before Jesuit-educated Jerome Powell's birthday. Interest rates 56. Three's 56, the third cut, right? Remember Super Bowl 56? We had the Bengals at plus 3.5. That was the spread because we were very confident it was going to be a 3-point game. We were very confident Odell Beckham, number 3, would score the first touchdown in Super Bowl 56, especially since he went from Cleveland to LA that year on November 5th, his birthday, the day leaving 56 days left in the year. Just like how the Rams started out in Cleveland. Odell Beckham's caught the first touchdown for a pretty much 10-1 payout. Bengals lost by 3 as a 3.5-point dog in Super Bowl 56. From then up through now, there's been so many of these 356 rituals, it's ridiculous. I remember when they were promoting the third booster, it was a huge 56 ritual, not to mention the jab itself equaled 56, just like the virus. And it was all Jesuits promoting everything from the beginning up until the end. But yeah, Powell is Jesuit educated. And don't forget, who was the president when the Federal Reserve was established? I'll remind you who it was. It was Woodrow Wilson. Do you remember how old he was when the Federal Reserve was established? Here, I'll take you back in time. Take you back in time to Woodrow Wilson, who helped found the precursor to the United Nations. Woodrow Wilson, born in 1856, December 28th. The Federal Reserve was created December 23rd, 1913, which means it was created 5 days before his birthday, meaning at the very end of him being 56 years old. He turned 56 December 28th, 1912. So he was still just barely 56 years old when the Federal Reserve was established. Now you got this ritual today with Jesuit-educated Jerome Powell. We've been pointing out all the little Jesuit rituals. And don't forget, Trump's Jesuit too. It's just like when we had the 56 virus lockdowns, it was 56 years after Trump's Jesuit education began. Freemasons, the plural, also equals 56. DC's the Jesuit Masonic city. The Jesuits are largely responsible for modern Freemasonry. So, yeah, it's also in the news today. And then Sharon Moore, they got to fire another black guy by the numbers. Supposedly he was having relationships with somebody who worked for the team. But look at his firing today. 311th day of his age, 64th prime, fired from Michigan. So we call business as usual. You learn this knowledge, you'll see through all of it day after day. And here is the seizing of the oil tanker. So is this the way we're planning to bring prices down in America? Or we're going to take over Venezuela? Venezuela, we need that cheap oil coming to us, not China. Okay, that's how we do it. We're the United States of America. Cheap oil here, or you're out of here. By the way, in my own life today, if you ever have this happen, have you ever been at the hair spot and the person slips with the buzz cutters and messes up your hair? It took me until being 40-some years old to have this happen to me today. The lady who cuts my hair, she's not the best at cutting hair. It's a small town. There's not a lot of people here, so there's less of a talent pool. But she's a real friendly lady, and she likes when I come in, and she likes to talk gematria, but she slipped. She doesn't normally use the buzzers on the front of my hair. I was already just thinking about it. I was like, why is she doing that today? She doesn't normally do that. And then she slipped with her hand. Can you see that she buzzed into my hair right here? She felt so bad, and she wanted the haircut to be free, but I insisted I pay for it. And I also gave her the biggest tip I've ever given her today, and she couldn't believe it. I said, listen, the hair will grow back. It's not a big deal, but if I'm looking at you guys, I think I'm going bald right there. That's not what it is. I got buzzed. I guess we were having too good of a conversation, but anyway, the good news is hair does grow back until you reach that point in your life where it doesn't. Anyway, shout out to Leper Messiah. Appreciate it. He's from the great home of Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Nate Thurman, RIP. We all know what they did to Nate Thurman, who's no doubt LeBron's real dad. I got about 15 minutes until I got to go pick up my daughter. I'm going to drop the link if anybody else wants to come on here and share something about what's buzzing. Uh, lucky it wasn't your Johnson. Well, I don't know how it would have been my Johnson, buddy. Jesus, I mean, where is your head at? My wife's gonna hate it though. My wife already wants me to get my hair cut somewhere else. She's like, "Why do you keep going to that person? She's so bad at cutting hair." You know what's funny is my wife had never cut my hair before, and the first time she did it, it was just like perfect. I was like, "How can you just cut hair perfectly?" I remember letting my college roommate cut my hair one time. I had to wear a hat for about 3 months until it was it was a disaster. For all you guys who complain about me going on CT's channel, the only reason I go on there is I'm always working on like football or sports, whatever I got to work on when I'm on there. It's just, and again, it's just nobody's watching this channel. I mean, this channel's dead, you guys. The channel's dead, but I got to keep it halfway alive. What's up? What's up? We know this is the greatest NBA 2K player in the Bay Area in California. What's up, man?
No, don't do me like that, Zach. Nah, but appreciate you taking my call. What up, Zach? All I gotta say is well, just like the Somalian thing going on in Minneapolis right now is, with the championship coming on. Is Indianapolis? I'm totally tripping right now. Is that the same as Minneapolis, or am I tripping?
Are you asking if Indianapolis is the same? What did you just ask me?
Yeah, I know. I know. It looks stupid right now.
Man, you must have got the best strain in the Bay Area today. Is Indianapolis and Minneapolis? Hey, disclaimer. It might as well be. Sure.
Disclaimer. I'm a little buzzed. I'm drinking. I never drink, so just a disclaimer. Disclaimer. Like I don't know, but yeah. What's going on with this? Like, so do you think we're gonna get invaded, or do you think we're already invaded, or like
invaded? Are you talking about by Islam?
That Islamification, and just like with like the mass immigration, like, do you think America is going to get invaded, or this is just propaganda? It doesn't look like
they have brought a lot of refugees into this country, and of course it's all by design. That they want us fighting over all of our differences. I mean, hey, they spent 20 years scaring us that Islam's a terrorist religion, and now you got a lot of Islamic people in pretty much all U.S. major cities. I don't worry about it, honestly. I don't worry about it. Again, as someone who's worked with a lot of Islamic families, I know that they're good people. I mean, I'd say the typical Islamic person is a lot better person than the average American. So I'm really not that worried about it.
But what about when it, like, all right, because they can get pretty radical once religion is brought up, and like they're not trying to assimilate to the Western civilization, and like do you think it's going to be a real spiritual warfare in real life?
Well, I imagine that that'll happen in the future. We'll have we'll have some suicide. I mean, they've already been showing you in Hollywood suicide bombers in American supermarkets. I'm sure they got all that planned for us. But I'm still not worried. I mean, that's what it is. I'm not blaming Islamic people. I know it's our government that's doing it to us. They want us in total fear. By the way, do you have HBO by chance?
I don't have TV, but I did kind of have on this one thing. But I've been on. I don't have TV.
Okay. Do you know that they have a new series on HBO about it? The killer clown.
Yeah, I've seen promotions about it. So it's a TV series, not a movie.
It's a TV series, and I've been watching it. In the 7th episode, what they're trying to do in the TV series is the military is in Derry trying to figure out what this demonic thing it is. And then it comes out in the 7th episode that they want to spread this demonic energy across the United States everywhere because they want people in perpetual fear. And he explains how fear controls people. He says fear actually keeps less chaos happening. He said when people are afraid, they stay inside. They don't go out and cause mayhem. So, and then the one guy says, well, this demon like eats children and kills people. And he says, we're soldiers. We accept collateral damage. But as watching this, it's like, see, this isn't just a show. This is just like how our society is. It is demonic. They do spread needless fear. But they got to now. This is what's in the It series, and I said, I mean, just the stuff they do. It's ridiculous. So.
A cult figure said I saw it just in the background. Okay, and then one last thing, and then so the 14th Amendment, birthright citizenship. What angle is that? I mean, I get it. Do you think that's going to go through with the Supreme Court? Like, you think they're going to end it? I think they should.
I mean, It's hard to say because the Constitution would say it's hard to say, man. I mean, the
Because it was
Constitution
literally
doesn't even matter right now. I don't know. We'll see what they do. We'll
it
see
was
what they do.
made for the descendants of slaves, like, and that should have been it. Like,
The thing is that, like, the Supreme Court can change something, and then somebody can die on the Supreme Court, and they can bring somebody in, and they can change it again. It's all political. I mean, you know, it's hard to say what they'll do. If they do it, it'd probably be temporary, and then it'll get reversed at some point and keep people going back and forth. That's what they do.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be like, I'm just kind of America first type of guy, even though they kind of stole that quote.
Are you doing the Nick Fuentes thing? Isn't that his
no,
line?
but see, they hijacked it just like they did with woke. They hijack it so fast to like make it so political. But like I've been saying, like America first, like, you know, because like just imagine if we take out all the immigrants, right? The illegal ones, not the ones that came here legally, the illegal ones, you know, all like, don't you think the way of life in America would be better? Less, you know, expensive, less inflation, less traffic, you know, less 18-wheelers crossing, you know, major crashes on major interstates. Like the schooling, you know, they say we're the dumbest schools like in the world, but it's like if you think about it, it's a lot of immigrants that are, you know, being taught in like the kind of, you know,
that does make a big difference. Yeah, it's like South Seattle has a lot of immigrants that hardly speak English, and then they're expected to pass the standardized test, and they don't, and they're like, oh, look, failing school. Yeah, I know. It's all a big joke. So, hey, lots of good questions. I let a few more people get in here because I got to get my daughter in 10 minutes. We got more people in the back. All right, man. Enjoy your day. What's up? What's up, King Richard?
Yeah, what's up, Zach? Hey,
we got Richard. Just so we know, got Richard. Then we got a Colted Figure, and then we got Gematria32, and then I gotta go get Ruby. What's up, man?
What's up, man? I'll keep it short and brief, but I wanted to bring a death to your on your radar. Came on my radar this morning. Jeff Garcia, suppose he died at age 50.
Are you talking about the quarterback?
No, not the quarterback. I knew you were going to say that. No, not the quarterback. The voice actor for Jimmy Neutron, the cartoon.
Okay.
Yeah, he died at 50, and I knew you were going to say that. But yeah, when you think about Jeff Garcia, does it remind you of the former Niner?
Of course it does.
And yeah, died at 50, right? San Francisco equals 50. Satanic equals 50. Supposedly they say he died at 50. Some people are saying he died at 48. That's funny because Jeff Garcia equals 48 and it also equals 60. Should remind how the 49ers are going to be hosting the upcoming Super Bowl this year, the 60th.
Today is 60 days before the Super Bowl, too. It's Super Bowl 60.
Is it 60 days? I didn't even look at that.
Well, the Super Bowl's on the 39th day of the year. Today leaves 21 days. Got to be 60.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I seen that. And Jeff Garcia, the football player, he's 55 years old, and 49ers equals 55, and December equals 55. I know we were just talking about that this morning with the death of that one woman who died, the actress or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, definitely not an accident. But, oh, yeah, and it's 76 days before Jeff Garcia, the football player's birthday, too, that he died. And San Francisco got that 76 and 50 in it. So
yeah. I'll have to look more into that. I didn't know that until you just brought it up.
Yeah.
I'm with that cartoon. I'll have to look into it.
No, I grew up watching this, so I'm familiar with it. But he also he did die 144 days from his birthday. He voiced the character. His name's Sean or Sheen Estevez, and his name literally equals Jesuit order.
Go figure. Jesuits plural's 50 as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Jesuits equals 50, did at 50. Yeah. So, oh, yeah, and that one actress, she did die 86 weeks exactly after announcing her diagnosis.
Yeah.
April 17th, 2024, 86 weeks.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the heads up. I'll look more into it.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
You too.
All right, we got. Oh, hold on, Spam Wave. You're next. Occulted Figure. What's up, Occulted Figure?
Uh-oh. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you.
I hear you.
Hold on.
I hear him just fine. Do you guys hear him?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't hear you. All I wanted to say was I find it weird. Venezuela dropped their dollar so bad they had to pick up Bitcoin. And the other crazier thing is just the amount of time. It didn't even take like maybe but 10 years after their economy collapsed and they adopted the Bitcoin. And I wanted to say, look out, because Look at what we're doing. We're trying to get the ledger to represent the U.S. debt. We're trying to get our debt wiped out on the crypto circuit. And I find it very, very interesting. Venezuela's back in the news again. But that's all I wanted to chime in and say for you. But appreciate it, Zach. Keep doing your thing.
Thanks, man. Just remind you guys, Bitcoin, a lot of people think it's the thing to save us. It's not. It's controlled by the same cabal. Bitcoin 72, just like money, just like Jesuit order. Remember the original bankers of the Templars. You got the Templar cross right in the middle of the Jesuit order's logo. And a lot of massive Bitcoin rituals by the numbers. Gematria32 dropped out. And what's up, man? Is it you that keeps doxing people?
I don't dox anybody. I haven't been trolling anybody or doing any of that stuff. I'm just working on a new channel.
Trolling. That's why I wonder if it's you doxing people.
No, yeah, that was like a year ago. I don't do that.
Okay, all right, it's not you. Okay, so what's up?
I want to look at this shirt. I voted for the right clown 1996. I thought that you'd get some appreciation out of this vintage shirt. But I found a really
on there. It was Bill Clinton. Well, whose face is that?
I'm not sure. It says EKG for president. I'm not sure exactly.
It looks like Bush's face to me, but Bill Clinton obviously was the president in '96.
But yeah, I found a really big find. I think you might want to put in your next book if you end up doing that. Look up. It's called the Freemasons Magazine and Masonic Mirror, Volume 4. And at page 398 and 399, this is like an official Masonic textbook. I'd like to read some of it. They're using the Jewish ordinal cipher, where they're actually doing gematria of the Jesuit order, and they're talking about how the Jesuit order controls Freemasonry from an official Masonic text. It says, Order of Jesuits. The F stands for 6 and M for 12, which added together give the number 18, representing S, the initial letter of Susictus. It is in order to say that they are the disciples of St. Ignatius that he calls them real Masons. R17, M12, 17 plus 2 make 29. The numbers 2 and 9 represent in their turn the letters BI, standing for Beatus Ignatius, blessed Ignatius. He next calls them accepted Masons to symbolize the word notres or nostri. A is 1 and M is 12, giving 13 or the letter N, the initial of the word. This whole page is like doing gematria. And then in the next page, it says...
what's the thing called again?
It's called the Freemasons Magazine and Masonic Mirror, Volume 4. And this is at page 398 and 399.
Wait, my mind is so slow. The Freemasons Magazine and what?
Freemasons Magazine and Masonic Mirror, Volume 4. I can post the link here in the private chat.
Yeah, do that.
For you to click it. And then you can just go to page 398 and 399. And it talks about that. I haven't even read the rest of it yet, but that's what's in there. And it says at 399, it says the brothers and fellows of the Freemasons are the scholastic and cogitatus spirit. This is a lot of Latin, and I don't fully know how to read Latin, but quadrators spiritualis of the. I'm probably totally butchering that. Of the Jesuits, for the temporal or secular Jesuits are not yet members of the order. They are not to do their own proper will, for the order of Jesuits requires absolute obedience, and the secular Jesuits do not yet know that Freemasonry is under the direction of the order. The secrets and secrecy of Masons allude to the secret of the Nostri or Nostres. The Valley of Jehoshaphat, even by its initial J, represents the Jesuits and symbolizes the whole surface of the globe, where the Masons are not to know that they are the slaves of the Jesuits. By the way, they certainly do not know it. The 3 pillars represent 3 vows. The word Mosaic, relating to the pavement, we are told is written in italics to symbolize the artifice of Moses, who knew how to blind the people of Israel to make them his partisans. The blazing star is the sun, the emblem of the order, the symbol of omnipotence. The master mason represents the chief of the notres or nostri and refers to the general. The 4 principles, the 4 vows of the initiated Jesuits. Freedom, fervency, and zeal, or FFZ, give 6, 6, and 12, which produce 36, like IHS is 36. 3 and 6 make 9, or the letter J, which that actually, this is the first time I'm reading some of this. 3 and 6 make 9, or the letter J, which signifies that Freemasons ought only to exist as the slaves of the Jesuits. Under 7, or as he styles it, the page of an apprentice signifies that the apprentices are not yet priests. That reminds me of Trump, the apprentice. Not having gone through the 7 forms of ecclesiastical ordination. In other Masonic systems, though expression 3 and more represent the 4 vows. Day represents the sun and the light of the world, or the order of the Jesuits. Night, the moon, or the order of the Freemasons. Poor letter G is again brought into requisition here to express the blind obedience of the Freemasons to the general of the Jesuits. Geometry, or the 5th science, is the art and science of this same G, or general, viz., that is subjugating popes. How many were there of them? Kings and empires. In the words middle chamber, M is 12, C is 3, give 15, or P patres, fathers. The priests in former times used to eat the meat of the sacrifices in, I can't read that, it's something camera, in the middle chamber. These fathers, Pures, or P, are also the portico by which Masons are at present initiated into their society, and they, having established actual Masonry, are called allegorically the portico of Masonry. A pair of stairs in Masonry means PS, Patres Societis, or fathers of the society. So I think that now it's just going into other. Oh no, yeah, here we go. It is only the science or knowledge of practice of the 5 virtues recommended by Saint Ignatius Loyola that is here meant, nor is the fictitious and nonsensical name the Timothy ridicule spared. 19 and 17, represented by T and R, make 36. 3 and 6 make 9, or the letter J, and the Jesuits called a Mason ridiculous Timothy, and think it a good joke. This is from 1858, so some of the grammar is like a little bit weird. The expression "make you free" means why we cannot see that Charles II, NB, and the dates. This is 1788. Once enthroned, shall make the Jesuits free and powerful in England. The Master Mason, who declares that the keys of all lodges are at his command, that is, that he can enter any lodge, a fact well known to every Freemason, represents a spiritual coadjutor who is the guide of the Freemasons. And also, just to add in, if you're Knights of Malta, if you become a Knights of Malta member, which is another Catholic society, this is also in Masonic textbooks. I'll have to pull that up for another day. But if you get into Knights of Malta, you're automatically promoted to 33rd degree Freemason. Like, you just automatically get.
Malta's another 47 word, and something I learned is if you have a passport for Malta, it's recognized in every country in the world. God, I forget. I need to go back and see exactly. There's something especially about the Maltese passport that it can do things that no other passport can. This is interesting. Did you read through this and figure out what cipher they're using? Because
yes, they're using Jewish ordinal.
Okay.
Yeah, I opened up all the ciphers because they said M is. I think let me see what it was. It was M is. Let's see. Let me see.
12, which is the 13th letter. And I know it's one letter
F is 6 and M is 12. So I looked up in all the ciphers, and Jewish ordinal was the only one that went by that.
Okay, interesting.
So they're definitely. Oh, where's the ciphers? Where do you get the ciphers from? Well, it's in the Freemasonic text, and I know that you didn't see this. This is the first time you're seeing this, and it just so happens that this Masonic text is literally exactly what you've been saying for years. It's exactly which proves that you're right, because it's like, this thing is just so happen from 150 years ago is completely confirming everything that you've said. that the Jesuits are in control of the Freemasons and that they're doing gematria and all this.
Well, what's
They're even,
annoying is there was a lot of information out there about how modern Freemasonry is clearly a Jesuit creation, but now like the Google AI and stuff will say it's just a conspiracy theory, which isn't true. I mean, you got to look at the rights of Freemasonry. They're all Jesuit priests. And don't forget, the headquarters for the Jesuits is the Church of the Jesus, spelled with a G, just like the Masonic logo's the G. And like it said, they all serve the general, as in the superior general. It's just so easy to see. I mean, DC's the Jesuit city, but it's known as the Masonic city. I mean,
and the street layout of DC. If you look at the way that the streets are planned, it's what?
It makes the big compass.
It's
unfinished.
It makes a big Kabbalah tree, the tree of Kabbalah. Yeah.
Is that right? I didn't know that part, huh?
Yeah, there's multiple things because they encode. I was reading a Masonic book, so I have these 3 Masonic textbooks. I think I've talked about them a few other times that I've gone on here. These are like very expensive, but I got lucky and I got them at a bookshop for cheap. And in here, it talked about how they encode it, how the Masons encode information into the geometry. So the different shapes represent. I can't decode it because I don't know any of these ciphers. There's actually one cipher in here. So some of the ciphers are like what you talk about, that they're it's gematria, but there's some ciphers. I want to pull it up here that are actually not English. And that guy that I showed you, Swilliamson, or Swilliamism, yeah, here we go. He was showing some of the ciphers on the Masonic buildings, and they're not numbers. They're not English. I don't know if you guys can see this, but right here, this is a Masonic textbook. Right here, let me get some more light. You can actually see the ciphers that are there. There's on this side it's Hebrew, and on the other side, it's this weird cipher, this weird language. That's not English, and that's not any known language. And that's one of the ways that they use to communicate. If anybody has seen this or knows like how to decode that, or has like a cipher that you can decode that, then that would be really helpful. Because there is a lot of non-English. There's actually a lot of ciphers that they use to communicate that are not in English, and it doesn't use numbers or anything like that. It's just like weird symbols that they made up. Because the other reason why they use this gematria stuff, they don't even know where it came from. Supposedly, according to the story, they say that the Jews discovered it, that they didn't invent it, and that it's actually from Mesopotamia, and it could be from even before that. So the point of this was that if they communicated with each other in the language that everybody understands, and they would get that information intercepted, and the secrets would be revealed, which the whole society is about, keeping secrets. So they created all these different cryptologies to exchange information in ways that nobody else would be able to decode. And the gematria is one piece of it. There's also all these other ciphers and stuff that would be helpful to be decoded, because they do have this stuff on their buildings, like in London. London's like the most Masonic city like in the world. Every
is created, divided into 33 neighborhoods. I mean, what could be more obvious? London.
Yeah, exactly. And all the 33 buildings in London, they all have checkerboard. Every building that has a 33 address has a checkerboard floor and like either some kind of Masonic emblem or Knights Templar emblem.
And look at what's above 10 Downing Street, something that looks very similar to the Jesuits logo.
Right. Yeah. And in New York, I think it's 33 Downing Street or something. That's the NSA headquarters, and it's this huge building with no windows. And they say that it's the AT&T building, but it's also for the NSA. But yeah, these buildings
probably is the NSA. I mean,
that what?
AT&T probably is the NSA.
Yeah, it's all fascism. They're both part of the same. They're both part like the same organization. In London, these 33 address buildings, they have these weird ciphers on them. That's like weird squiggles and stuff. They also have a lot of weird artwork too, and it's like kind of some of it's pretty disturbing. And they also all have, I don't know if you can see this or if it's too light, but this is Solomon's temple. It's kind of like a whitewash, but if I'll just explain what it is. Here, there's so Solomon's temple, so there's 4 pillars here. The 2 on the outside here are square, and the 2 here in the middle are round. And so this is how you know that a building is Masonic, because pretty much any Masonic building has that same architecture, where it has 2 square pillars on the outside and then 2 round pillars on the inside. That's based off of Solomon's temple, and a lot of the buildings, and of course you have the sun up here, the illumination. And you go into any Catholic church and it's like basically the exact same architecture as this. They have, you walk inside, there's a sun in the middle. There's I forgot what shape it is, but it's the shape that's like this. There's this shape, and then there's two triangles, and that's another of their architecture. And this is from their books. Like, this is stuff that they and you'll see every Masonic building has the exact same layout. But to continue reading on this, I think it was at page 400. So it says, I
gotta get my daughter here pretty soon. So
okay,
go ahead.
So only like two more minutes, I think I got.
All right, 2 more minutes.
All right, cool. The expression "make you free" means why we cannot see that Charles NB. The date of this is 1788. Once enthroned, shall make the oh wait, I already read that part. A whisper even signifies the care and anxiety of the Jesuits not to betray themselves to the Freemasons, and the materials, brass, iron, and steel, occasionally used by Masons, signify by their initial letters BIS. The Society of the Benedicts, Saint Ignacy, or Blessed Saint Ignatius. Our father's zeal against the Jesuits seemed to have known no bounds. It has evidently sharpened his ingenuity for such contortion of meanings of letters, words, and numbers to any purpose that came handiest, as the saying is, we never witnessed before. He says, 3 and 11 make 14, and 14 represents O, or order. This happened to the word he wanted, but if he had wanted a word beginning with E, he would not have scrupled to produce 5 by adding his 1 and 4 together, as he does in numberless other places. Macedon and Monmouth are very much alike after all. There is an M in Monmouth and an M in Macedon, a river at Monmouth and a river in Macedon. I don't know if this is talking about Macedonia. And so much credit do we give our author for ingenuity and his zeal to cast contempt upon Pritchard's endeavor to bring the order of Freemasons into ridicule, that we doubt not he could, had he been so disposed, have proved that this name Monmouth was derived straight from Macedon, and that the 2 places were in any one quarter of the globe, or both in the one assigned by Ingoldsby as a new discoverer to a celebrated geographer as a 5th quarter. The people of Tribnia were nothing to him. He certainly succeeded his objective, bringing poor Richard's dissection beneath contempt. Okay, so that's it. There's I don't know if I have enough time, but there's one thing I wanted to show that CT didn't let me show, but it was this. It was this. Oh, it was the wrong count. When I pull it up, I'd like to share my screen. Let's see. Here we go. All right. So this is Taylor Swift's own words, and this was all. There was also this other thing on the news. There was these short clips. If this is too long, then we can just do this next time. But here, let me share my screen. Okay.
All right, we got to go quick because it's already been more than 2 minutes.
All right, so I'll just. Oh wait, let me turn my music off. All right.
How come what you just put up there? What you have up there is there.
Okay, cool. Can you hear this?
No.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if this. Let me just change.
Here, we'll do this one later. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do it later. It's fine. Yeah. Okay. All right. See you.
All All right. Thanks, man.
All right, bye.
All right. See you. Reading comments like this. Here, let's read this one. You don't understand what Freemasonry is if you think it's the Jesuits. What are you talking about? Have you done any research? Read Eustace Mullins. Why? Why do I need to read another man's research? Here's facts to look into. Does Pope Francis equal Freemasonry in Gematria? Yeah. Do they both equal 58, like secret society, like Rosicrucian, like how all these things are related, like the 1,058 ritual of the Freemasonry? Did Pope Francis become a Jesuit in 58? Did Pope Francis do the hidden hand pose, a Masonic pose? Is there numerous speculation from all kinds of different sources saying that it did appear that Pope Francis was a Freemason? The first Jesuit Pope happened to be a Freemason and followed that very 58 Masonic code. How about this nation's history? George Washington, the Freemason, becomes the first recognized president the year that the first Jesuit university is established. Georgetown, George Washington, all in 1789. First in January of 1789, Georgetown established. And then George Washington a few months later. George Washington, who favored the Catholic Church. It's a fact that many of the rites of Freemasonry were written by Jesuit priests. What are you talking about? Who leaves comments like this? How about pull your head out of Eustace Mullins' ass and go do some actual research and get back to me and write, you don't understand what Freemasonry is if you think it's the Jesuits. Are you living in the United States where the capital is the Jesuit Masonic city? I mean, it's just annoying. What are you talking about? God. This guy, this book he found here, research this, what's all written about. There's all kinds of things pointing to the relationship with the Jesuits and the Masons. The moron's going to go, no, that couldn't be because the Jesuits are Catholic and Freemasonry's banned within Catholicism. Okay, that might be true, but you're in a secret society. Do Freemasons not accept Catholics? Of course they'll accept Catholics. All you have to do to be a Mason is believe in God. That is the one qualifier, and to not get blackballed by the lodge when you sign up. Those are the two things you got to do. Believe in God and not get blackballed. You can be a Catholic. You're not supposed to with your religious affiliation, but again, that's the beauty of a secret society. You get to keep some secrets. So, yeah, I just get tired of reading dumb comments like that. It's very obvious what the Jesuit Masonic Alliance is. You got to be brain dead to not see it, really. So, all right. Thanks again, Leopard Messiah. Appreciate the 5, and we'll leave it there for now. Thanks to everyone who's the like and the share and leaves the comments. Keeps this channel on life support. I mean, the channel's pretty much dead, but it still gets a few views. So that's all for now, Truth Seeker. Till next time.